I have the pleasure of introducing the president of our board, Dr. Armine Hacopian, who is starting her third term occasion as being president of the Board of Trustees, and she has a few words she'd like to share.
Good morning, good afternoon, good noon. We welcome you to Glendale College's third annual State of the College address. We worked very hard to get to this point so that we are able to invite the community over and share our best with you today. But before we go on, I'd like to introduce some very special people. All the students in the auditorium, will you please stand up? All the students, regardless of your age, just stand up. We're very proud of what our students have done. Each student was asked to bring a community, a member, or a business representative, and that's how we bring in community involvement. And we thank you very much to all, all the students who are here, and the others came in from Crider Hall. Dr. Lindsay. There's still some over, but they can hear me. They can hear me thanking them. Okay. We have some, I want to say adult VIPs, but our students are adults as well. First of all, I'd like to introduce our immediate past president, Mrs. Quinones, Anita Quinones Gabrielian, who did a fabulous job as past president. Next to him is another fabulous trustee, Dr. Vahe Perumian. And our most outspoken trustees, our student trustee, Susan Sarkisian. We thank you for all that you've done. Among the guests that we have Scott Ochoa, our city manager. We have, I'm just going to go through the list, so if I miss someone, Dr. Don Lindsay or someone else will cover that. So I apologize. We have Mr. Ted Bunch from Burbank Board of Education. Where are you, Mr. Ted Bunch? As the president. He and I used to work together at John Burroughs High School many moons ago. We have Elisa Glickman from Glendale Arts. Is Elisa here? Okay, we are recognizing her. And we have Nick Hacopian. Where are you, Nick? From Glendale College Foundation. Thank you. And Albert Hoffman, community leader. Thank you for coming. Mary Hovagimian from our Congressman Adam Schiff's office. Are you here? There she is. And of course, someone that everybody knows, Mr. Harry Hall from Glendale Foundation, Glendale College Foundation, and many other organizations. Is Edna Karinsky here? Is Edna here? I don't see her. She's from Community Foundation of the Verdugos. We have Sergeant Tom Lawrence. Are you here? There you go. Thank you. Talene Mangioglu, is that right? She is from Carol Lou's office. The light is so strong I can't see. Don Nakamoto from Verdugo Workforce Development. Is Don here? He's worked very hard for our Water and Power program. And Captain Carl Povolitis, I know I saw him out there. Carl Raggio, who has worn many hats in this community. There he is. Thank you. We have Chief Scoggins. Where are you, Chief? We welcome you. And we have Tanganyika Turner from our Assemblyman Portantino's office. If you're here, we welcome you. And we have Camille Levy from Glendale Healthy Kids. Where are you? Thank you and goodbye, Camille. You've done a great job. We have Steve Zern, Director of Public Works. Steve, there you are. Thank you. Before I say a few more words, I want to recognize two people. You know, people who work at GCC bring tremendous family support. First, I'd like to recognize Dr. Don Lindsay's father, Mr. Jim Sweeney. Where are you? Thank you for raising such a daughter. Thank you very much. And I also would like to recognize my husband, Armine Hacopian, who's been a tremendous support all these years. You know, we are going to show you our best today. I understand there's a dynamic video, and hopefully you'll get to enjoy it and learn a little bit more about Glendale Community College. But you know what? We are not going to be doing as well in the next few years because of finances, because of budget. So we ask you publicly to support the tax initiatives, the temporary measure to fund education, because without that, we are really going to close down many classes. It costs us roughly around $4,500 to run one class. So you can imagine the impact of budget cuts. We may be looking at as much as 10 million if things really go as they appear to be. So at this point, I'd like to thank our faculty and staff who are here for taking on the extra students, for staying late hours and registering students. Without them and without a very effective shared governance system, we could not be as successful as we are. So we continue to ask for your help. Get in touch with your legislators and tell them that the jewel of this city, which is Glendale College, is not going to be shining if budget cuts continue as they are. So, on a more pleasant note, I'm going to give the podium to our superintendent, Dr. Don Lindsay, and want to thank you again for attending our event today.
Thank you, Dr. Hacopian. Dr. John Davitt is with us. I just saw him walk in the back. Thank you, John, for being here. I have to tell you, the dream behind having a State of the College address was actually Dr. Hacopian's. I have to give her credit for it, and I have to tell you, she was adamant when I took the position, even as the interim, that this was going to happen, and it was going to be on my evaluation, and I better make it good. So, I want to thank Armine for the push, and I want to really give her credit because this was her vision long before it became my assignment. Okay, I also have to thank Brett McKetta. This is the third State of the College that we've done, and it was Brett McKetta's dream and vision that we as a college could combine the State of the College with the Business Lecture Series. And Brett is the man and the master behind the plan. And I want to make sure that he knows publicly how much I appreciate this opportunity to address the community, address the business community, and the fact that he was willing to share his business lecture series with the college, because that truly was his baby, so to speak, is very, very much appreciated. So thanks, Brett. Pardon? What did he say? I'm not sure what I just missed, but okay. All right, this is our Board of Trustees, just so you know who's at the helm of the college. The Board of Trustees is responsible for policy and fiscal issues, so they have maintained a tremendous commitment to this college. We're very, very fortunate to have the board that we have. They listen, they understand, they want to hear from you. And again, this is how this whole community forum idea got started in the first place. I don't have a Mac. Okay. We, in 2009, set out on the ambitious goal of doing a comprehensive external scan of the community and really deciding that we needed to be making much more data-driven, much more objective decisions. And from that external scan came revisions to our strategic plan and the implementation and the initiation of our first community forum process. Now, it is set up as a cycle. So we do our community forum in January, February timeframe. We work with our planning teams. We give them the information. They take the information that they receive and put it into the strategic planning documents, look at where we can move things forward and look at how we can implement and integrate things. And then I have the privilege of being able to report out to the community as a whole what it is that we've done. And now I'm going to be able to share with you again this year what the community forum for 012 is. So the first thing that you're going to see up here is the community forums from 2011. And the way we did it was pretty informal. We invited everybody. And we did what we call table topics discussions, where each table had an area of focus, and guests were encouraged to circulate among the tables to provide as much input as possible. But what we were really looking at hearing in 2011 is, what skills are you as a business community and as the leadership of this community looking from our students? What is it that you're wanting us to provide? What are the barriers that are preventing us from getting there? What are the barriers that are preventing our students from succeeding? You know, do our students have the skills that you're seeking? How can we continue to achieve the academic excellence? Glendale College truly is a jewel in the state. We are well recognized as one of the stellar academic educational institutions. There's 112 community colleges. This college stands out as a leader continually with our academic rigor, with our reputation, with our programs, with our responsiveness. And even though we're facing some budget stuff, I really kind of want to be the cheerleader here and let you know that this college remains very, very committed to the programs that we're offering, and our commitment to our students remains high, and our commitment to quality remains even higher. So we're working strategically, but we have addressed a lot of these issues. And then we were also looking at what is it that the community can do to kind of help us out. So here's what you told us. You want students who can speak. You want students who can communicate. You want students who have some basic skills. You want students who know how to work in a collaborative setting. You want students who understand structure, who have possibly been involved in mentoring programs. You want professionalism, and you want accountability. And for the business leaders that are standing or sitting in our audience right now, the guests of our students, I'm sure this list is something that you would all agree with, is what it is that you're looking for when we're preparing students for the workforce and as we're preparing students to support the economic viability of this community. So we started to take a look at some of the barriers to communication, some of the barriers that our students were facing, and some of the deficits. And it was interesting because it wasn't always just the hard, quote-unquote, hard skills that students needed to learn, it's the soft skills. And these are some of the issues that came forward. And just quickly, I can share a comment between the texting and the ear pads and the iPhones and the iPads. Our students live in a very isolated world. And I was pulling out of the drive the other day. This Circle Drive is probably the most dangerous driveway to park in, because it's not that people are being rude. They just have their earphones in. They don't hear us. They don't see us. There was a student that I followed out of here going at less than half a mile, I guess, an hour. But he wasn't being whatever. He just turned around and he was so apologetic when he realized I was trying to get behind him. But one of the things that business leaders have told me in this community is how we have to work on teaching people how to just do social exchange and communication and conversation that requires interaction between two people. I was doing an interview yesterday with Dr. Perez for a position here, and one of the applicants told me something. I didn't do this research, so I'm just going to share it with you because I thought it was interesting. But she told us that Google actually asks applicants whether they're dog lovers or cat lovers. And who do you think they'll give the jobs to? The dog lovers. Because they said dog lovers are more collaborative, cat lovers are more autonomous. And I thought, what an interesting interview question. But if you're ever applying for Google, make sure you say you are a dog lover. Okay. So our business leaders were also talking about the need for motivated students, people that are energetic, enthusiastic. They're coming to the job because they want this job. They're going to work hard. They're going to show up on time. They're going to have a great attitude. They're going to, take feedback, criticism, positive criticism for improved performance. And they want people who have been involved with mentoring and coaching. I share with students when I talk to them that I started doing internships for free when I was a sophomore in college. And the reason I did it is I had a very wise professor who said, Dawn, when you graduate, you're going to have a degree just like everybody else who's graduated with you. What's going to set you apart as a new applicant in a position? And it was experience doing mentoring. And no, I didn't get paid for it. And yes, I gave up lots of other social activities to be involved, but the payoff was huge at the end because I had not only the knowledge base that my faculty members had provided to me as I was learning, but I also had some experience. And as those experiences continued and my educational options continued, it really became a very, very powerful combination. I'm also from the East Coast. I talk really fast, but I talk even faster when I don't want to infringe on the time of the other speaker. So I'm going to go through these slides fairly quickly, and I do have a video that I'd like to share with you because I think it's much more powerful than just me talking. So, how can we achieve success in academic times, difficult times? And these are some of the issues that came up. Now, I have to tell you, we've got more students than we can serve right now. So in 2007, when I started with the college, we were in growth mode. We were doing everything we could to grow programs. We were doing everything we could to be creative. And now we actually have to be really careful that we don't overgrow because we can't support the programs, and we do want to maintain and continue our quality rather than having a lot of quantity. So these are some of the things that came forward. Many other people have been actively involved in lobbying and advocacy, not only at the state level, but at the federal level. Our board members have gone back. Our board members have gone north. They've gone east. We've worked really hard. We've got faculty and staff involved in all kinds of advocacy because there's tremendous scrutiny right now of the community college system. Fewer dollars means more better utilization of resources. And some people are criticizing the community colleges because, quite frankly, I don't think they understand what we do. We take anybody who wants an education and we bring them on board, and we would define a student who comes in to take a real estate class with Walt, and they finish their real estate and they get their license. We would deem that student a success, and I think most people in this audience would as well. But the criteria is something that we need to keep an active voice in. I'm very active at the state level on various boards. Our faculty are very active through the Academic Senate at the state levels. We are protecting our students and our mission so that we are able to meet the needs of the community and having a very, very large voice in how people perceive the system. And these are some of the things that people said that we needed to do as far as what the community could do to help us as far as achieving our goals. And I have to tell you, if there's ever a community that is very warm and very loving and very receptive, it's Glendale. I've lived here for 5.5 years. I've worked at this college for 5.5 years. You see community leaders all over this audience, some of the people that Dr. Hacopian addressed and welcomed this morning. This community is a very large, small town, and people care about each other and people work together. And one of the issues and one of the biggest things that we're looking at right now, a huge partnership, is with Glendale Unified School District for the middle college. And we obviously don't have the ability to expand on our campus. We don't have the money to expand on our campus. And Glendale Unified, I really want to thank them publicly, is looking at utilizing their dollars to renovate College View across the street and allowing us to put our middle college in there to help students continue succeeding and transferring back and forth between the colleges. I think those partnerships with the community, that kind of literal dollar investment in another institution, is pretty unique, and it's very, very, very special. So if there's a town that's going to get through this, it's us. The coffee bean cart, did everybody see the new coffee bean cart? I just want to point this out as another wonderful collaborative. We had an issue that we were losing money in some of our food service areas, and our Garfield campus didn't have food services and didn't have coffee cart. With the beautiful building, they had a place to eat, but they had nothing there that we were providing for them. So, we look for the win-win at this college. We look where we can partner with people and everybody comes out feeling really good about it. The coffee court, we're all anxiously awaiting its opening, But that was a community effort. Business came forward and said, I think we can help, and we can upgrade your services. We can take away some of the deficit that you're dealing with, the $60-some thousand that we're going to get in rent plus commission on sales for the college is truly a win for us. It's a win for our partner, and really it's a win for our students on so many levels. So the partnerships that we've continued to create, and I respond to this because this is what you as a community said you wanted from this college. And we do listen, we do hear, we set out to make it happen, and we are making it happen. Now, our community forum in 2012 just occurred. So these are some of the table topics. We limited it to 4 table topics this year. Issues with workforce development, the tax initiative that Dr. Hacopian has already talked about. I'm going to touch on it a little bit. The issue with redistricting, and then the issues with lifelong learning and parent ed programs. Our parent ed program has been around for 60-some years. Our lifelong learning program has been around for 40-some years. My dad is a senior. Hate to give you away, Dad. But he actually takes computer classes. We hire somebody from Garfield to come help him learn how to navigate the computer. Because at 88, he's still learning, he still wants information, and it's an amazing service that we provide for the community. And it is important. But what's happening is the state's now saying with limited resources, what do we do? We have to put money into students getting general education, getting their transfer, getting their basic skills, and getting into career tech education programs. So now we're trying to creatively think of ways that we can continue serving the community. Touching on workforce development, these are some of the things that the group had asked us to take a look at. There's a tremendous emphasis on career and tech education. Partnering with communities, partnering with the businesses, internships, and this is where you as business leaders that are sitting in the audience can really provide us a lot of assistance. Take the risk on one of our students, and I guarantee you will not be sorry. They will benefit from your expertise, and you will benefit from shaping and guiding and helping somebody learn your expertise. What a gift that you give and what a benefit they get. The tax initiative, it is critical. If you've never voted before or if you're apathetic about voting, we're working with our students, we're working across the campus, we've got various groups out having people sign petitions. This tax initiative is critical to this district. It could mean the difference between $3.5 million to this college for the next academic year. Please do not vote for the other measure that's only going to benefit K through 12. And even our K through 12 colleagues have said to me, well, this is great, Dawn, if we get all the money, but what do we do with our students, with Cal State's being impacted and the UC's being impacted? If they can't come to you, where are they going to go? So we even have support from our own unified district for the tax initiative that's going to provide money both to all educational arenas. The redistricting issue, you've been reading about it in the paper. I have to tell you, we have a wonderful board that does tremendous representation. They are taking this very seriously. They are looking at this very altruistically, and they want to make sure that the decisions that they're making are in the best interest of the community. They are studying this issue, and I am confident that they're going to come up with a decision that's going to work for this community and in the best interest. So as you're looking at those issues with redistricting, please know our board is aware and very much cares. And again, with lifelong learning and the parent ed program, we're looking at ways we can move things around, change things a little bit, possibly move things into community services. The thing when you have to scale down something, you don't want to eliminate it entirely. It's much too difficult to bring it back. When we were looking at cost containment with our study abroad program, what we did is we didn't cancel study abroad. We went from 5 programs down to 1 program, but we knew we were going to be able to bring it back up again. And it's just kind of a strategy that we've been using. Now, I'm going to close because we were asked last year to do something of a video rather than just a straight PowerPoint presentation. So I want to thank Scott Stallnecker, who put this together and worked very hard and interviewed a lot of people. And Guido, if you could take it away.
Coming from a small magnet school in downtown Los Angeles, college wasn't in any of my plans for my future. But when I came to Glendale Community College, my life took a total turnaround. I met inspiring individuals, faculty, staff, and my peers alike who've really shaped who I am as a person today. I got involved in the clubs and organizations here on campus, as well as joining student government. And I have Glendale College to thank for who I am as a person now and for who I'm about to become.
There are thousands of stories like the one you just heard. Credit goes to the many faculty and staff that interact with our students. Each an expert in their field, take the time to teach, connect, and mentor each student. All of our employees go the extra mile to make sure our students have the resources they need to attain academic success. Glendale College has long been known for stellar degree and transfer programs. Students attending Glendale College attain their first 2 years of their degree requirements and then transfer to the University of California, California State University, or many private colleges of their choice. We work with our transfer colleges to ensure the classes a student successfully completes at Glendale Community College will be accepted by the institution the student is transferring to. We also offer career training programs. These programs enable adults to attain or upgrade skills in as little as 1 semester, making them competitive and prepared for a continually changing workforce. Whether a student is interested in the medical field, fire safety, culinary, or many of our other training programs, we have the curriculum that will open doors to new careers and opportunities. If you are interested in specialized programs such as our Bahia Field Station, our Study Abroad program, or our planetarium, please take the time to learn more about these valuable programs on campus. Our student athletes evidence high grades and high persistence rates due to the importance our coaches place on performance both on and off the field.
I firmly believe today that these kids have got to put education first. You are a student athlete. You're blessed to have talent, and maybe that tool that you're involved in, which is tennis, can take you to the next step where you get a scholarship in tennis. But the most important thing is education. They have to have education to make it in life. Without education, you're always in a position where you're outside looking in. They have to have education. That's number one.
We celebrate the many successes of our athletes at our annual Hall of Fame induction as we honor their contributions to the communities they serve.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate those kind words. Almost sounded like my mother wrote it, didn't it? I should just correct. This medal means as much to me as any that I have. This is a very special thing. Our best value in higher education in the United States is our community college system, and I'm here to tell you that the education that I received at Glendale College was absolutely superb. It was better than the four-year universities when you had class sizes of 15 people. Dr. Veltman, standing around the chemistry department over here, chomping on a banana, would give you one-on-one instruction during his lunch hour 5 days a week if that's what you needed. So you can't get that kind of personal attention within the standard university experience. And so I say this so that everyone in this room will be evangelical about the role of the community college education and its opportunity for us to bridge a gap and help people adjust from the high school experience to the four-year university graduation. I think that those pillars really have been important in my life.
Despite difficult fiscal times, Glendale Community College has received additional funding through stimulus dollars, grants, and contracts. This year alone, we received $11 million in Title V funding.
In fall of 2011, GCC was awarded 2 Title V STEM grants by the U.S. Department of Education. And the purpose of these grants is to help Latino students achieve college degrees and also to help the institutions that serve Hispanic students to improve so that all of their students benefit. A nice thing about Title V grants is though their purpose is to help Latino students improve their academic outcomes, we're not required to serve only Latino students. So any program developed through Title V grants is able to serve all GCC students, which is really a good thing. STEM grants, science, technology, engineering, and math, are to encourage students to become interested in the science and math fields and also to succeed and get degrees in those fields. We were surprised actually to be awarded 2 grants, but they complement each other beautifully. And so I've been asked to tell you a little bit about those 2 grants. The first of the 2 grants is called the Gateway Grant, and it's focused on basic skills. We made the argument that students can't get to STEM careers or majors if they can't get through basic skills, and the government agreed. We already have a fantastic basic skills program at GCC, so the purpose was not to build a program, but rather to integrate the various pieces of the program so that students will experience more of a holistic program instead of a bunch of disintegrated pieces. The purpose of the Gauss grant is more to help students at transfer levels and providing experiential learning for our students, both again to attract them to science and then to help them make their way through their courses in science and have a pathway to a university major and degree.
So that we can make objective and data-driven decisions about our programs and services to students, we have a full-time dean of academic planning, research, and grants.
The California community colleges are required to report information on accountability, and the State Chancellor's Office has a series of 8 accountability measures called the ARC indicators. ARC is ARCC, and it stands for Accountability Reporting for the Community Colleges. The information that I'm going to be presenting today deals with numbers from 2011. Now, the 2012 numbers are coming out soon, but the 2011 numbers are the most recent ones available. And I'll be talking about how Glendale College ranks on all 8 of the ARC indicators. GCC is highly ranked among its geographic region, among the peer colleges defined by the state, and among all of the community colleges in California in terms of these important measures. GCC's averages are above the state average for all the measures. We're also above the peer group averages and the averages for the community colleges in our region. So it basically shows that GCC is doing a very good job on all these measures that are important to the state.
In order to understand the needs of our community, in 2010, we initiated our annual community forum, followed by our annual State of the College address. Information attained is shared with our planning committees and is reflected in both our educational master plan and our strategic master plan. We are committed to these annual events as we believe in the need to listen to our community and respond to your educational needs. Our gorgeous campus provides a learning environment where students enjoy investing their time. Glendale Community College celebrates all cultures and hosts many events designed to enrich our students' college experience.
It's not just to present culture, is it? But it's also to have fun.
Glendale Community College also hosts many special lectures and other student learning activities. We provide a comfortable and safe learning environment.
The Associated Students of Glendale Community College has 26 members, 1 president, 5 vice presidents, 15 senators, and 5 representatives at large. The whole legislature works diligently to ensure that all students are being represented equally. We try to plan and coordinate events and activities that relate to student life at the college. We are very lucky to have students that are highly involved on campus. We have over 50 student-run clubs, all of which dedicate their time to the school and the community as a whole. We, the students, represent the college and the community at the state level by attending various conferences and rallies. One of the biggest advocacy events we participate in is the March in March. Student leaders go up to Sacramento to speak with state representatives about the budget and how it affects students here at Glendale Community College. During these challenging economic times, we greatly appreciate the support of the faculty, staff, administration, and community as a whole. With your help, we will continue working towards our goals as the future of our society.
Glendale College is a great place to invest your time and money. By investing in us, you're investing in your community. Please join us on Saturday, October the 20th, 2012, for our first annual Foundation Gala. We hope you will be able to attend this event as we appreciate your continuous support of our college.
Glendale College is celebrating its 85th anniversary. What do you do for your 85th? Well, Glendale College Foundation is throwing a party that will also raise funds for the college. Now, more than ever before, the college needs our help to continue its stellar work. Speaking of stellar, the theme of this party is Stars Among Us, and it's going to feature this wonderful planetarium along with the best of our culinary center, our talented students, and our beautiful campus. We hope you can join us on Saturday, October 20th, 2012.
Glendale Community College is proud of our reputation for academic excellence and our responsiveness to the educational needs of the communities we serve. Our programs literally change people's lives. And I bet every business leader in here would be happy to hire Susanna. Okay, I think we're going to take a very quick break, 3 minutes, right, just to switch things out a little bit. On behalf of Glendale College, on behalf of the board, on behalf of the faculty, staff, and administration, thank you so much for your support, your commitment, and your passion for this campus.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today. I lived in Glendale for about 10 years back in my 30s and loved the community, and it was during my bachelor days, so I don't want to talk about it now because the wife is here. So we'll get right into the speech. My name is David Houston. I'm the CEO and co-owner of Barney's Beanery and Q's as well. And how many of you have been to Barney's before? Yeah, all right. Thank you very much. I appreciate the contribution. The David Houston Early Retirement Trust Fund is sadly underfunded at this point, so come back as often as you can. If you haven't been to Barney's, I recommend chili with beans, washed down by a beer if you're 21. But be careful, it's an explosive combination. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about being in business and the challenges we face. I was asked to come and speak about the challenges specifically. I got to tell you, I've always dreamed of coming to a college and giving a speech to a large group of students and imparting my vast wisdom. But in my dream, it's a little bit different. In my dream, it's David Houston. The title of the speech is David Houston, Billionaire, Adventurer, the most interesting man in the world. But sadly, I'm not a billionaire. And if you ask anybody that knows me, I'm not particularly interesting. So we'll go with what we have. I'm clearly a businessman that is challenged. So that'll be our topic today. How many of you want to go into business for yourself someday? Great, that's great. You will be embarking on the Lord's own work. I really mean that. I think that business is one of the great callings for young people. Because, I mean, how does our world really get better? And the politicians will tell you that they created a program, or they created more jobs, or they solved some broad social issue. But really, I think they just get in the way or do stupid things all the time. The world gets better, I think, because of business people taking a risk, providing a product or service that improves our lives. I mean, where's the government great hotel or iPad or phone or car. It doesn't exist. It's all private industry that does this. And because of private industry, things just get better and better, particularly in developed nations. 100 years ago, which is just a blink of the eye in history, the average lifespan was 47, which means you guys are all middle-aged, and I'm dead, right? Our diets were low in calories, our houses were small, travel was reserved for the super rich, and it was dangerous. Titanic, for instance. Nowadays, our houses are twice, 3 times as large. Our diets are too rich. Look at us. The common person can buy a car, travel around the country. Cars, we have cars. 100 years ago, cars were rare, roads were few. It's really a great time to be alive. And it's all because of business guys and gals having a dream, a vision, and seeing it through. So, but the thing with starting a business or being a young person and wanting to go into business and be self-employed, it's kind of scary, right? I used to have all kinds of doubts. And how do you get there from here? Am I smart enough? Am I driven enough? Is there some kind of secret sauce that business guys have that I just don't have? I've got some good news. When I tell you my story, you'll realize if Dave can do it, anybody can do it. I can do it. America is a super great country because where else can a guy with short attention span, limited education, no money, be more or less successfully self-employed for his entire adult life? Only in America, right? It's a great land that offers us a lot of opportunities, and we should take advantage of them. When I was a very young man, I wanted to go into business for myself, but I didn't really know what to do. I had a few jobs when I was very young and in college, but I didn't do very well at them. And to this day, I still consider myself really unemployable. So I had to go into business, but how to do so? I had no role models when I was a kid. My parents, I was adopted. My father was a career Navy man, and my mom was a musician. So the only people that came over to the house were military guys and musicians. To me, business people were bold and daring and brilliant, and I knew I was none of those things. But still, I felt the drive, the calling to go into business for myself. So I had no idea what business I'd go into, what it'd be called. I had no idea what it would be. I just knew that I had to be self-employed. And I was able to grasp one vague concept. Like the old George Harrison song, I knew this was going to take money, and I had none. So I had to begin amassing capital. At the time, I was making zero. I was making nothing per year. So I had to get a job, maybe I had to get 2 or 3 jobs, and I had to find a way to live mostly for free, to save as much money as possible. So I went down to my local college, which was CSUN at the time, and looked on the board that has living arrangements. And there's apartments seeking roommates, or roommates seeking apartments, and then there was a small board over to the right that was live-in situations or something like that. And I looked on it, called a few numbers, and finally found a situation where I would move into this woman's house who was a single mom, had 2 kids, and I would watch her kids while she went to work, and I would do housework and yard work, and basically at 22 years old, I became a houseboy. My parents were so proud. This is exactly what I look like still. It's amazing. Underneath the 20 pounds of fat. So the arrangement actually had other benefits as well. The woman that I moved in with was named Barney, and she had a business called Bonnie's Cookies. Fabulous cookies. She would bring home the cookie dough at the end of the night, and I would eat it until my mouth was raw. And then I'd keep eating it. It was so good. So she was my first self-employed businesswoman, business person that I was able to observe up close and kind of watch her habits. And after a while, I noticed, she's really not that much different from regular folk. She's smart, but she wasn't super smart. She worked all the time, 7 days a week. She seemed stressed out all the time, and her business seemed perched on the edge of disaster, which I was to learn later was all very common symptoms for a small business. So I lived with her about a year and a half, and I kept thinking to myself, if she can do it, I think I can do it too, which again is my big message if I have one today. If I can do it, you can do it. So after about a year and a half, I moved out, and during that time, I'd taken a few jobs. I was delivering cookies for her. I was doing random chores around the neighborhood for anyone who would have me, and I was also working as a mobile disc jockey. So I decided my first big career move would be into the glamorous, exciting music industry. At the lowest possible place in the music industry, slightly below the lowest rung of the ladder in the music industry as a mobile disc jockey. So I went to my employer, and I told him I was going to go off on my own, and he was very gracious, and he shook my hand, and he wished me well. Interestingly, years later, when no less than about 12 bartenders or managers of mine would break off and open competing businesses, sometimes less than a block away, I learned what he really felt. And I too would shake their hands and wish them well, but I didn't mean it. I don't think he did either. Anyway, enough bitterness. So I went off into the DJ business, which was a fabulous first business for me. One, it was Best Beat Mobile Disc Jockeys. That's right. It's an unregulated part of the economy. We were completely off the radar. Even BMI and ASCAP, which are the music licensing companies, didn't even know we existed. So we had very few rules and regulations to follow. We really just concentrated on doing a good job, being a good business person, and growing the company, which was great. And I was able to learn some business fundamentals that I think apply to any business. So I'm going to pass them on to you right now. 1, answer the phone. Seriously. You'd be surprised how the whole thing was, we create the company. At the time, 1, there was no cell phones. 2, DJs usually had day jobs, and they DJ'd on the weekend. But I was too lazy to get a day job, and I'm unemployable. So I stayed home and answered the phone when it rang. Best Beat Mobile Disc Jockeys. And people would open the phone book, and they'd go through it, they'd call a bunch of numbers, they'd get answering machines, and then they'd get me. And I was able to book a lot of gigs that way. It was fabulous. So competitive advantage. But answer the phone really means more than that to me. It means answer the call. If business is calling, say yes to business. It's surprising, and it's frustrating. Maybe you've had this experience. You call a business, you want to hire them for something, and it's like they're doing you a favor or something. Like, dude, I'm trying to give you money for what you do for a living. I have this in my own, when we had one system in the DJ business, and we booked a second gig on the same evening. So I built a system to accommodate it, because you don't say no to business. I'll have managers tell me sometimes, we got a call, they want to bring in 50 people, but the Lakers are playing, I don't think we can fit them in there. Fit them in there. Take out tables and chairs. Don't say no to business. Answer the call. 2, show up on time. Woody Allen famously said that showing up is 90% of success in business. And it's an exaggeration, but it's true. Showing up to me means showing up every day, 7 days a week. Maybe not for every business, but for mine, I have to be there 7 days a week. And not just for the glamorous stuff or the cool stuff or the big party or that kind of thing. It's showing up every single day and checking on all the details. I still try to get to every single restaurant every single day, check in, see if there's anything that needs to be done. So, show up. Always be prepared. Number 4, always do the best job you can in every situation, even if you think nobody's watching and it doesn't matter, so you're not later surprised. I was doing a wedding one time, and it was a terrible wedding. And about 3/4 into it, no one was dancing, and I just felt like a big failure. And some kids came up and said, it's not your fault. The father of the bride is very religious, and he doesn't believe in dancing, so nobody wants to dance. Oh, great. Why do they call a DJ? But I kept plugging away at it, and I finally got some of the rebels in the crowd to dance to Michael Jackson and that kind of thing. So At the end of the thing, I was putting my equipment away, and a woman comes up and she says, "Hey, it was a really great job. I know it was a tough crowd, but you did a great job. And do you have a card?" "Sure, I have a card. Here you go." She goes, "Great, I work for Disney, and I'll be calling you." I almost retired on that account alone. Disney is such a great company. They throw parties and gigs all the time. It kept me working a ton. So if I would have packed it in like I felt like doing that day, perhaps you wouldn't have come up, and perhaps I wouldn't have made any money. Always carry a card. That's all there is to say about that. You got that. So the next thing is, be prepared to adapt and change. Be ready for your life to change, in fact. You never know when it will. I wasn't ready, as usual. I was, when I was a young man in my 20s, before I got into business, I was driving around one night, and in the valley, it was a summer night, and the windows down, and I pull up to a stop sign. There's a car next to me. I look over, there's a guy in it. He's got his windows down too. Hey, how's it going? We're the only guys on the road. And he said something back I didn't really understand. We pull away, and we kind of talking back and forth through the windows, and he says, "Pull over." So I pull over. Now, I don't recommend this as a networking technique. It's probably, but I started talking to this guy, and he was a very interesting guy. His name is Avi Fatal, and he would later become my business partner and best friend for the last 25 years. Avi was a recent immigrant from Israel, and he's just a few years away from his breakthrough product that he did, which was the auto shade, where he made his small but very ample fortune. And we became buddies, drinking buddies, really. We would go out and drink beer, and we'd talk about women, politics, and cars. We agreed on politics and women. We still don't agree on cars. So we would go out, hang out, and just be buddies. One day, we decided to go out to play pool. This is in '88. And neither of us are really pool players, but we thought, it sounded better than just admitting we were going out to drink beer again and talk about women. So we go out to one pool place, which was in the valley, and we walk in, it's like a Wednesday night, and it's packed. So we say, there's another place over the west side, we'll go there. We go there, it's packed also. At that moment, I turned to Avi and I said these fateful words: "We should open a pool hall." See, I discerned the lack of, supply and demand. So there's a lack of supply and an over-demand. I discerned that as a businessman, saw an opportunity. So he said, I think you're right. We went home to write our business plan, which wasn't a business plan because I can't write a business plan. You put a gun to my head, I couldn't write a business plan right now. We got a little solar-powered calculator out. We sat there in the kitchen, and we did the math. All right, if we have this many pool tables and we charge this much per hour, oh my God, we're going to be rich. That was literally our business plan. So, and this leads me to another point. And this is, the business schools don't like to hear this, but I don't believe that you should over-investigate a particular field. If you get excited about something, I got a thumbs up over there for somebody? Good. If you get excited about something and you've got the dream, you do a little due diligence, but you don't do too much. Because if you look at something long enough, you'll talk yourself out of it. If I would have done extensive research, if I would have done any research on the restaurant business, I wouldn't have gone into it because it's too problematic. There's too many moving parts. Most restaurants fail. But we felt excited and we went for it. I think there's no substitute for enthusiasm and naivete in business. And in marriage, by the way. Ask anyone who's married. You got to take the leap, right? So we opened the mighty Q's. We opened Q's in a warm April day, right around this time of year, in 1989 on Wilshire Boulevard. And I remember it very well. We opened the doors, you're very excited, a few customers came in, and it was a little bit too warm, actually. So I went to turn on the air conditioning, didn't work. So I crawled up to the roof, and I know nothing about air conditioning and nothing about electronics. And I remember very distinctly having this vision that this business, much like my DJ business, would require a number of skills that weren't necessarily directly related to the restaurant business, as I'm trying to fix the air conditioning. In the DJ business, I had to figure out how to rewire electronic equipment on the road. I would use my teeth to strip the wires, and then duct tape to roll them together and keep the thing going. I had this ancient Dodge van that I had to continually keep it going. So as a business person, you have to be able to adapt to a variety of situations that are outside of your direct focus. A lot of times, people that food guys go into the restaurant business and they fail because they're food guys. They're all about the food. But the restaurant business, like any business you'll find, is all over the place. You got to take care of this problem, and there's a fire over here, and you got to do all kinds of nonsense. So I didn't know how right I was going to be, because later on I found out that there was a lot of government affairs that I had to learn about in the restaurant business. But I'll get to that in a second. So I think there's two main problems you can have in business. One, not enough customers. Two, too many customers. We had the second problem, which is the best problem to have if you have to choose one of the two problems, but it can be just as fatal as the first problem. We were swamped from the day we opened. And I look back and think about it, and I just do not know why, because the place was a mess. We didn't have any money, and we couldn't agree on a color, so we just painted the walls white. We had no money for a decorator, so I had the idea that we'd put a giant rack of balls on the wall. So we got this big wood frame, we made it, and then we got balloons, blew them up, and put paper mache around them and painted the balls on them. But what we didn't take into account is over time, the balloons would lose air. And so after a few months, we had this rack of colored raisins on the wall. And people would come in and go, "What is that?" It's art. I don't know. The building didn't have a sound system, so I just rolled in one of my DJ systems and hooked it up. And then in the evening, the old DJ, I'd put on songs. And back then, songs were on a 45 or on an album. So I'd have to get back to change the song. So I had basically 3 minutes and 15 seconds to solve any problem that happened in the restaurant. I'd put on a song and run out, break up a fight, come back, put another song, run out, run some food. But it was good because it taught you to solve problems super fast, which is also a good trait in business. We had no lighting effects. We had basically cans like these in the ceiling. When we wanted to set the mood, we just turned all the lights off. So we sent out chicken sandwiches with no chicken. Everything went wrong. But for some reason, thank God we had pool tables, and it was just after The Color of Money came out, so the pool thing was really hitting hard. So we had the pool tables, and we were new, and for whatever reason, the crowds kept coming, which was great. It was great, but it was also a big problem. Too many customers gave us a big problem. We thought we were on Wilshire Boulevard, and you're on Wilshire Boulevard, you can do business. It's a normal place. So customers would park in the back, a little parking lot. They'd come in, they'd do their thing, and they'd go out, and they'd get in their car, and they'd leave. Sometimes they make a little bit of noise, but hey, we're on Wilshire Boulevard, right? Well, no. We had a neighbor in the back, several neighbors in the back that were disturbed by the noise. And this gave me another big life lesson. There are an unlimited number of crazy people in the world. One of them may find you in your business. God help you if he does. We had a few neighbors that had a problem with the noise. We said, no problem. We're not bad guys. We want to be good neighbors. So we closed the back door. We valeted to the front. The noise problem ended. But the crazy neighbor wouldn't stop. He called everyone, the city council, the fire department, the police. Fire department came in one night. This is how primitive we were. And the fire marshal walks up to Avi and I, and he says, "How many people do you think you have in here?" We said, "A lot." Turned out a lot more than we were supposed to have, so we got cited for overcrowding. And then it turns out the building safety came in because the neighbor had called, and we didn't have the proper. Who knew you need a special permit to have pool tables? So the city filed an accusation to close us down, and that's when the government affairs stuff. We tried to appease the crazy neighbor. No way. What I ended up doing finally was I took a video camera, and I would go at about 15 minutes before closing, show that there was a big crowd inside, walk down the stairs, out the back, and go stand right underneath the neighbor's window, wait 30 minutes, walk back inside, show that it had emptied out. Because crazy people always go too far. He had said that every night at 2 o'clock he's woken up. So the videos proved that we'd really taken care of the problem. We went to the council office. Anyway, we were able eventually to stay in business. But we learned that we have to maintain relations with the local politicos, have to put in campaign contributions, have to play the game, especially when you're in the restaurant and bar business. So how many of you would like to go into the restaurant or bar business after that? Good. Oh, only one. Okay, good. Okay, you're crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a terrible business, but it's also a great business. So I'll give you the great side of it. The great part of the business is you get to be around people when they're, most of the time, at their best. Having a good time. No goats allowed. So, you know, when you go out at night, you go out with your friends, and you're going out to have a good time. No one goes out to have a bad time. I tell the staff that all the time. All we have to do is get out of their way. Bring them their drinks, their food, put on the right song, put on the Lakers, done, job done, we can go home. So people are happy, the staff is young, and they're excited to make money. So you're around a bunch of happy people doing happy things. This is a serious thing you should consider in your job quest. If you go into the law, don't go into the law. Everyone's fighting all the time, or accounting. So try to find a job that you're around happy people all the time. And you'll be happier. That's the best side about the restaurant business. So, for all my advice about staying out of the restaurant business, I haven't really taken my own advice. It was 1999, and I had 4 Q's billiard clubs at the time, and I was rapidly finding out why there was no national chain of nightclubs in America, because there are a handful to run. So I'm sitting there opening my mail, and I get this flyer that Barney's Beanery is for sale. I couldn't believe it. And Barney's Beanery was the first place I went when I came to Los Angeles. It's where Jim Morrison hung out, and Janis Joplin, Marilyn Monroe, Clark Gable, you name it. We just saw a check that was written to the Beanery from Marilyn Monroe. That's how, she wrote checks. So I couldn't believe it was for sale. I took my partner there. He thought it was a dump, but I talked him into it, and we ended up buying the place in 1999. And I just love it to death. I think it's the greatest bar in America. No thanks to my own, because I did barely anything to it. I went in there thinking, I'm so smart, I'm going to redecorate, get rid of these terrible booths, and fix it all up. And the regulars would pull me aside and say, don't touch anything. Even the duct tape is sacred in Barney's. Don't touch a thing. So I've done very, very little to it over the years. I think Barney's is, when people ask me why it's successful, I say, it's kind of like a deli that's had too much to drink, And it's got a little bit of a pickup vibe at night, plus the sports vibe, plus the huge menu, 500 items, plus almost 200 beers. Somehow it all kind of comes together and works. So I love it, still love it. Since then, we've opened up 4 more. Oh, that's the one I was supposed to have up there, wasn't it? Sorry. So that's the original one in Hollywood. Opened up Pasadena, Santa Monica, Burbank, and Westwood. So, for all my advice about staying out of the restaurant industry, I find myself into it again. But I've really, in a way, I've spent most of my time in the restaurant business trying to get out of the restaurant business. I've come up with a product to organize your trunk. I had a scheme to have a cable channel, exotic line of computers, and all these businesses have failed, except for the one, which was I wanted to do a television show about high-performance automobiles, which I did get on the air last year, and then it got canceled after 1 season. So much for that. But the downside of the restaurant business is you deal with a lot of people. All problems in the world, I believe, are people problems. So if you can develop good people managing skills, you can probably rule the world. If you can't develop good people managing skills, the restaurant business is not for you. You've got a lot of staff, and the staff doesn't necessarily want to be there. I mean, they don't mind being there, but it's not their destination career. They all want to be an actress or an actor, or they want to get out of college and become a doctor, or whatever they want to do, which is all great. It's a transitionary job, but they're not invested. Like what you said before, if you go to get a job at Google, you think, oh, Google, this is huge. I want to work for Google for 50 years. They're not invested like they are for larger companies like that. So it's difficult to manage. Someday the big idea is going to hit you. You're sitting there and it's going to come. And when it does, you're going to need money to do it. When you think of all the great companies that we live with these days, They were started by young people, generally, that had no money, but they really got launched with venture capital from guys that did have money. So a lot of guys having a lot of money out there, I don't think is a bad thing at all. I mean, we're all Americans. This is our team. I mean, if you're playing with the Bulls in 98 and Jordan's scoring 50 points, are you mad? No, it's like, oh, we're winning. We're going to win a championship here. So the more rich guys, the better. So that's my spiel on that. California is a state where the legislature cares very deeply about the citizens and the employees. And they care so much they pass about 1,000 laws a year. A bunch of those regulate small business, medium business, all businesses. And I liken them really to kind of a helicopter parent who really cares about their kid. So they hover over the kid, but what's the net result? You have a kid that feels, kills his sense of adventure and his spirit and his creativity, and that's, I think, what the state of California has done to businesses here. In general, I think anything you make more difficult and more expensive, you get less of. Make things cheaper and easier, you get more of it. California, through regulation and the litigation that follows, because if you don't follow every rule, if you don't dot every I and cross every T, you find yourself with a big fat lawsuit. Through these two things, they've made hiring people difficult, risky, and expensive. And so we have less hiring right now. About 11% unemployment, some of the highest in the country right now. So that's my spiel on that. I hate to end on a sour note. I'll take questions from you, but in general, my big message is, besides don't raise my taxes, is business is great. If you want to do it, go for it. You can do it. Anybody can do it because I've done it. Thank you.
We'd like to thank Mr. David Houston for a fantastic presentation, and we have a plaque to commemorate the event. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, it's in here. Oh. Is that it? Oh, is this it?
That's just the flyer.
Oh, okay. No. It gets better. Oh, see? Told you I wasn't so bright. There you go. Thank you very much. Thank you. I enjoyed it.